Instead of good old chicken pot pie, let's make a pie out of a Filipino stew. So today, we're gonna make chicken caldereta pot pie. And we're gonna make it as easy as possible. Instead of making a whole pie, we're gonna make pie crusts to put on top of our caldereta, like a hat. Welcome back to Jeanelleats, where you get to taste the flavors of the world in your kitchen. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and the bell right next to it so that you can get alerted of the weekly delicious recipes that I whip up on this channel. And if you want more easy Filipino recipes, hit that like button. Caldereta is one of the many delicious stews from the Philippines, and originally it's actually made with goat meat, but that's not something you can typically find at your local grocery store. So we're gonna make it with chicken instead. Okay, let's get started. Grab a large food processor to make the pie crust. Dump in 1 1/4 cup all-purpose flour, 1/4 teaspoon salt, then frozen butter that's been cut into chunks. I'm putting in 1/2 cup. The number one rule to keep in this pie crust, keep your butter cold at all times. That's how you get a flaky pie crust. Okay, so pulse this just until the butter has been integrated into the flour. It should look like little breadcrumbs. Finally, we're gonna add 1/4 cup of cold water. See, I even put ice in this water. Then pulse again just until the water is fully blended into the dough. Make sure you don't overwork this. Lay out some plastic wrap so that we can dump out the dough. At this point, just use your hands to press the dough together. Again, try not to handle it too much. Then wrap it up in the plastic wrap and then stick it in the freezer for at least 30 minutes. Now let's make our chicken caldereta. I have just a little over 2 pounds of chicken thighs here that's been chopped up into large chunks. Add about 1 tablespoon of salt and then mix it into the chicken. Massage. In a separate pan, heat up about 1 tablespoon of oil. Toss in 3 cloves of crushed and minced garlic, 1/2 of a medium onion, chopped, and 2 bay leaves. People usually just toss the bay leaves into the sauce, but I like to heat it up first. Then dump in our chicken. If you'd rather have a beef caldereta, I have an Instant Pot recipe and I'll put that link in the description below. We're just gonna let it cook a bit on all sides. It doesn't have to fully cook right now because it'll have time to cook some more later. Okay, we're done with that, so move that off the flame and then grab a bigger pan. Heat up another tablespoon of oil and then throw in 1 cup of cubed potatoes. This was about 6 baby potatoes, and 1 cup of sliced carrots. This was about 1 large carrot. We're gonna fry these two up for a few minutes just to let out some of their flavors, and then we're gonna dump in 1 15-ounce can of tomato sauce. Mix, 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 and then we're gonna add in our MVP ingredient, liver spread. I'm using chicken liver spread to keep it all chicken, but feel free to use any other liver spread you can find. I'm putting in a little under 1/2 cup in here, and then swirl it into the rest of the ingredients. There's gonna be some clumps, so break it up as you're mixing and then you'll see the sauce turn into a lighter color. Once it's fully mixed, let's bring back our chicken and throw it all into the pot. We're gonna add the last few finishing touches before this simmers. I have these sliced garlic stuffed olives and I'm adding 1/2 cup in here, but if you don't like olives, feel free to leave them out. Finally, add in 1 cup or 1/2 of a large sliced bell pepper. Mix everything together, add some freshly cracked black pepper, stir one last time, and then cover with a lid. We're gonna let this simmer for about 10 to 15 minutes on low heat. It's been 15 minutes, let's see if it's done. So how I check is I poke the potatoes with a fork to see if it's soft, and if your fork pokes through without much resistance, then it's ready. Your chicken would be fully cooked at this point. So see how there's more liquid that came out after you simmered it? If you'd like, you can add more liquid if you want it to be saucier, and then add more salt if you need it. But for me, this is good enough, so I'm gonna take this off the flame, and then we're gonna finish it off with our pie hat. All right, take your pie dough out of the freezer, unwrap it, and then we're gonna beat it into submission with our rolling pin. This just makes it easier to roll out the dough. Next, flour the top of the dough and the work surface, and then roll out the pie crust. Turn the dough with each roll and add a bit more flour periodically if you want to keep it from sticking to your work surface. If you get any cracks, just press them back together. Okay, so at this point, you can just cut out tops for your pies to keep it simple. But if you want to do a lattice, let's do it together. So once it's all rolled out, we're gonna cut this into strips. I have to use a ruler. There's no way I would cut these straight otherwise. Then take every other strip off and it's time to start braiding. We're gonna flip over every other piece of dough and then lay a strip of dough on top. This is gonna give you that alternating lattice look. And it's actually a lot simpler than it looks, so I encourage you to try this at home. So after this, you may wanna chill your dough again because the dough needs to stay cold, right? So back into the freezer for about 15 to 30 minutes. Once it's chilled, take it out, and then we're gonna cut out the pie hats. Choose your bowl and then use it as a stencil to cut out your crust. Then I'm gonna put these on a parchment paper lined baking tray, brush the tops with a beaten egg, and pop it in a preheated 400-degree Fahrenheit oven or 200 degrees Celsius for 20 to 25 minutes. We want these crusts to be nice and golden brown. If you don't want to make your own pie crusts, you can actually skip all this and just go to the store and buy a pre-made pie crust. It's totally up to you. Okay, now we just have to put it together. Dish out your chicken caldereta into your bowls, put on its pie hat, and it's ready to serve. I typically love eating caldereta with rice, but the pie crust is a fun way to change things up. Let me know in the comments though, would you be willing to try caldereta with a pie crust, or are you gonna stick with rice? This simple pie looks so nice and it is very easy to make at home. So I'll leave you with that. Thank you so much for watching this video all the way through. Again, if you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button and the bell right next to it if you want to keep up with the weekly videos that I make on this channel. I'll see you guys next week. Bye!